Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Crossbody Unity. This is Pastor Tavo D'Arcy, Apostle Founder and Leadership. We're just trying to help people, and this is not intended to be all white. It's intended to be cross-racial, cross-community, cross-cultural, and whatever style and type fits the vibe. Males or females. This is actually a human's ministry. I had to have it downloaded, revealed along the ways as I matured, encountered different discoveries, identified my own weaknesses and strengths, the positive side, but also dealt with the critics, the accusers, and the law, the religious spirit. With that, we just pulled away. God used that to train me, get me alerted of what goes on in the modern day when people just want to go to church or go to ministry. Then you got the confusion of media, talking heads, bias, all the different things, world, flesh, and the devil. That's it. So when I grew up, I'm going to give you a background. I grew up with happy parents who came from happy parents who came seemingly from other happy parents that were really Christians, saved Christians that were quality and integrity, youthful and smart, but also non-biased. I never heard in my background, I never heard one screaming, yelling tongue of accusation, gossip, worry. I never heard anything racially biased. I never heard anyone abusive, cussing at my house and my family. It was God's mercy. He did that by grace. I couldn't have earned it. I didn't deserve it. But he knew that it would help me discern better when I grew up and got called to study the body of Christ in ministry and was out with real people. I had my own ministry as well as a family. And the background in my life was more like a Billy Graham parents and grandparents. And it was not under the law, no little woman, and are you submitted, nothing like that at all. It wasn't country law, but it was educated and respectful, pure in heart. And I grew up with a holy fear of the Lord in hindsight, it just rubbed off. And I saw that they lived out their life as I live out mine and teach it for Crossbody Unity as a first church principle of authority. They lived it out, married couples on both sides of the family and in ministry, senior ministry, as Ephesians 5:21, mutual submission in the fear of the Lord. And see, it takes an agreement. People need to teach about it, especially parents, and if you're going to marry somebody, to iron out what that is. It's not covering. Covering is not in the first church. I've already looked this up. But chain of command is. And so if you're going to marry somebody or be in their ministry, you're going to have to know their views on that. And then when a couple gets married, they want to please God if they're true Christians, both of them. So they want to do preparation beforehand and say, am I willing to do Ephesians 5:21, mutual submission in the fear of the Lord, deferring, honoring each other, and the humility of the fear of the Lord, respect. But then that means also 5:22 for the female, and it says the wife is submitted to the husband. Well, I never had any legalism, any bad connotations with that, because I grew up with people who are happy campers, very respectful, and you're just loving and unselfish. So when I look back, they were living it out before me in 5:21 and 5:22, but my teaching is if you do it well, you teach both of them respect, the married couple, and you teach them both holy fear of the Lord, and you teach the children there'll be no problem with a saved, committed Christian pleasing the Lord and also submitting to the husband. Submitting was never a bad word like it is in the general society and Christians, because I never heard anyone accuse or want to treat people in diminished manner. It was not frustrating in my house because both of them were emotionally healthy, the family basically, and lovers of people and them, their family. So you have to train this and educate people so it's not scary, because all we've heard when you go to most of these churches, if I hadn't lived it, the opposite is like, telling the men and the women, better watch out for those women, implying women are to be expected, faith for them to misbehave and get into trouble and be dismal. And that is what I really discovered in the deep Southwest, almost at every turn, even with standing women. I have never been around. I got educated. See, I got my degrees. In my opinion, humans can hear God and have no need for a degree, or you can have degree. I put my identity not in myself, my look, my education, my plan, my talent, if I have any, or speaking, or family. I put it in the Lord. He is my identity. And that's where I think a lot of the education comes from. I did, by God's grace, come from educated people. Sort of a white-collar people, But that was because God needed that, They were pure in heart. That's what really counts. They were pure in heart. And I believe I learned about keeping a pure heart from just being around them, that Billy Graham age, and watching my aunt, everybody, sort of self-introspect to make sure they were, not in the wrong or doing it well and pleasing God. And that's how I want to do it. It's all Crossbody Unity is. It really is. Trying to have fruit. It's the fruit that remains, not screaming and dogma, authoritarianism, or anyone's critic. You have to have two sides to show Jesus' love, though. You have to know the sweet baby Jesus kind, turn the other cheek, walk the extra mile. But you have to know also on a given day when God says the manned up, humaned up Jesus, who rose up, stood up, and confronted openly the Pharisees and tossed over their system money-making tables. So when there's tough love, faithful are the wounds of a friend, admonishing, correcting, not playing around, but being upfront and candid, that's me showing Jesus Christ temple cleansing love, and I work on myself with it. I have to do the same thing. So we're here for the body of Christ. I've been doing it for years, but in embed, sort of silently, so I could live out with the people of God who are sitting there alongside me, the different kinds, couples and singles, black, white, and brown, new people, older people, because they were sitting under teaching, which was really TV affected, media affected, growing more and more, and some were on TV, some were not. So I can tell a difference because I've been sent to study after being embedded, and also through osmosis, just by being so frequently, I can tell charismatic from Pentecostal, charismatic from different kind of spirit fills within the group, as well as the usual more traditional. So we want everyone to hear God now. It's nobody owns this move. The Crossbody Unity move is based on community, everyone getting along. Psalm 133, for God to command his blessing, really to please God in case he shows up. The bride of Christ prepared. All right. It's an option. We're not into submission. We're into mutual submission. It's divine appointment. But because it's a female here, and I'm also Galatians 1 and 2, I'm not under you and I'm not over you. And you'll be happy, gentlemen who are LP, specifically the patriarchs, that this woman is not over you. She's your collaborator. She's your resource. She can be your professor or just your iron sharpens iron as a friend. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. We're for the team, a team player, Jesus player. Let him lead, you lead, whatever. But we'll be over here when you need us. And we're trying to do this fairly without mentioning people's names, without gossiping. I don't gossip. And we are trying not to be TMZ or tattletale. We're trying to be dignified for the sake of Christ and work on ourselves for the Ephesians 4 Pauline transformed community, which affects society. So if we have people who are divisive, using occult, turf protecting, undermining, failing to discern the body of Christ correctly, poor me, all this stuff, using people, taking advantage, disrespecting, mean, then that is a need to admonish and correct and speak, and I will. For the sake of the harvest, for the sake of harmony and safety and fellowship and community. God bless you. He loves you. Bye-bye.